Hello everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another one of our weekly Kaguya-sama Love is War Season 3 discussion videos. Today we're here to talk about Episode 4. Before we get into that though, let's try to get this video to like 200 likes. I'm curious if we can pull that off, but with that said, we're going to go ahead and jump right into this episode. So get yourself a warm cup of tea, get nice and cozy, throw this video on another tab, and let's talk about Episode 4 of Kaguya-sama. So... this episode, the thing that I want to really like zero in on before anything else is the fact that I had no idea that Chika was one of us. I had no idea that Chika was also a Fujoshi / Fudanshi. I had no idea. She was a BL loving fan. I had no clue. Also didn't know that Hayasaka had another version of Herthaka. There's too many Hayasakas. Herthaka, which is a male version of Miss Herthaka. It doesn't matter. So Chika's one of us is the main thing. I loved that. I thought that was hilarious. I'm not gonna lie, Hayasaka. Okay, for a long time I had a problem. I had a small problem, and that is that I didn't have a ship for either Chika or Hayasaka. Right? I didn't really have a ship. I kind of like Hayasaka and Shirogane, but mostly as a ship that could never be type of thing. So, you know, I was left in this position where it's like, okay, well, we got the obvious canon pairing of Shirogane and Kaguya. I really like Tsubame and Ishigami a lot, but you also have Ishigami and Ino, which I'm not gonna lie, I think is actually a little bit cuter, even though I think Tsubame is great. I do think that Ishigami and Ino just a little bit, I don't know why, the personalities just match a little bit more to me. But I like both ships. But the thing is, I didn't really have a ship for... I kind of shipped Chika and Ishigami a little bit. But that was like back in like Season 1 and / early Season 2. So I haven't really shipped that in a while. So I didn't really have anybody for Chika and Hayasaka. Because I was just like, well, Hayasaka and Chika are the best girls of the whole thing. So, you know, eventually they'll find somebody, right? And then I thought to myself, I said, Self... what about Chika and Hayasaka? What if the ship was just Chika and Hayasaka together? And then seeing like Mr. Herthaka as this sort of like super butler, it got my brain a-flowing. And even though Fujoshi / Fudanshi typically tend to be like, you know, we're usually talking about like BL, that could cross over into GL as well, and I see it. You know, but we do find out that Herthaka is into dudes, which again is the reason why Chika has her big freakout, because she's like, no way! And then she thinks about Herthaka ending up with Shirogane, and that gives her a nosebleed, which I thought was really funny. It was gnarly too. It was like a really vicious nosebleed. I'm talking like Master Roshi levels of nosebleed. So that was pretty funny. Now, again, my fellow Fujos and Fudans, I feel as though now is a perfect time to remind you all, what do we not do? We don't ship real people, right? So in universe, if this was reality, and Chika was shipping real people, that would be a no-go, because you don't ship real people, that shit's weird, right? But in the context of the show, or in the context of the fact that this is a show, it is fine. And so Chika gets a pass for shipping real people, because they're real to her, but they're not real to us, so it's fine. So Chika, yeah, Chika's one of us, which was hilarious. And I now ship Hayasaka and Chika. That is now a ship to me. Also, Hayasaka just having like a billion personas. Well, she doesn't have a billion. It's a bit of a stretch. I'm being hyperbolic. She has Hayasaka in school mode. She has Hayasaka at the estate mode. She has Miss Herthaka, and she has Mr. Herthaka. So there's 4 separate versions of Hayasaka, all of whom are Hayasaka. It's just they're like two. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, and you guys can be the judge of this. In my opinion, all of these are Hayasaka. They're just different versions of Hayasaka. They're like, not maybe different versions. They're all Hayasaka in her personality. It's just she's allowing separate versions of her personality to come out. I do think she is all these personalities. Like, she really does like Shirogane. She really is having fun being a bit of a gyaru. She's not like full gyaru or anything, but she's having fun being like the popular girl and like, you know, kind of gyaru, very, very light gyaru, if you could even call her that. Not really. We'll just say she's having fun being the popular girl. She does like she does like Shirogane. She does enjoy being around Kaguya, even though Kaguya drives her insane sometimes. And she is that, like, you know, that like sort of strict busybody type maid slash, I don't know what you would call her, to Kaguya, right? But she's also got a little bit of Mr. Hirthaka in there as well. Like, she likes kind of being sly and coy, and she's having fun with it, right? She like smirks at Chika when Chika figures out, or well, what Chika assumes she figured out. That's all Hayasaka, you know. That's all our girl. That's all Hayasaka in there. And I think it was fun. It's just, I like Hayasaka a lot as a character. I always flip-flop on who's best girl, whether it's Chika or Hayasaka. If you look at my top 11, if you go on my Annie list, I have my top 11 favorite male characters and top 11 favorite female characters, but I only allowed one character per franchise. And right now, Chika is on that list instead of Hayasaka. So I would argue Chika's best girl, but Hayasaka's very, 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 very close second. So the idea of these two being a ship, I love that. I ship it. I ship it like FedEx. But speaking of ships, I mentioned it earlier, Ishigami and Tsubame. I want to talk a little bit about my boy, because Ishigami this week reminds me of why, if you look at my top 11 favorite characters, you'll notice Ishigami is in my top 11 favorite male characters, because Ishigami is the friggin' best. He's the best boy, and I love him to pieces. I will always defend this man until I am blue in the face, or until I eventually, you know, all my stitches come loose and I finally leave this mortal coil. I will always defend this dude, because Ishigami's been through a lot of bullshit, and I will defend him until the day I am dust. And seeing him light up and get all frazzled and a bit shy when Tsubame walked in, that shit was cute. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, look at you, you're shy. You know, I was like, oh, he's a shy boy. I'm not gonna lie, I was like, I kind of ship it. Tsubame is, I'm not gonna lie, probably pretty good for him. I think he kind of needs to be in a relationship with somebody like Tsubame. Maybe it's healthy for him. You know, like, to have that sort of inviting, happy presence. I hope he doesn't become, like, too reliant on her or anything like that, but I think that the way that she kind of brings him to life a little bit, even Kaguya saw it. You know, Kaguya's like, that's cute. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, right? But it was very sweet. I really enjoyed that scene a lot. I thought it was super cute. I liked, like, again, like, I am of a few minds. I do think that Miko and Ishigami are arguably, like, more of a, like, opposites attract type of thing, right? And I do feel like I think I would rather see them get together, but I think in terms of, like, where we are narratively, he's more likely to get with Tsubame. And the show is kind of hinting that might happen, so I think that's probably going to be what happens. Like, I think that's the canon ship. Don't tell me if it is or not. What am I talking about? I don't read the comments anymore anyway. But I do think that if that's where the show goes, I'm still on board, even though I don't ship it as much as him and Ino. The reason why is because, again, like I said, I just feel like it's good for him. Like, I feel like she's healthy for him, you know? Like, she'll kind of help Ishigami, like, figure out who he's supposed to be, you know? Because Ishigami, like, really busts his ass this week. Like, he really tries to get into the top 50 in his class. And Ino literally says, like, look, you're on the student council, so just don't get an F, okay? And he's like, no, don't worry, I studied this time. She's like, yeah, right. Right? But this time it was true. He really did. And what I really like, okay, like, yes, he did it for Tsubame, right? Like, he did do it for Tsubame, right? Which, again, I do think that she's pushing him in the right direction. But when you think about it, it wasn't really just Tsubame. Like, I think that's part of it. But what I like, and it's something that I think the show doesn't get enough credit for, and that's that these characters do feel like friends, especially by the time we get to season 3. And in season 2, we see just how, like, above and beyond Shirogane, and technically Ino, went for Ishigami. And we also see Chika and Shirogane, as an example, like, constantly helping each other out. We see Hayasaka trying to help out Shirogane, even though she does have a crush on him. But even Chika and Kaguya, like, rooting for Ishigami during, like, the foot race from last season. And so we see these characters all, like, genuinely, even though, like, we're on that line where they're almost Konosuba characters at times, or they're kind of shitty people, but they never fully cross over into being, like, bad people, right? Like, because in Konosuba, like, we love them, but they're bad people, right? Whereas in Kaguya, like, they could do nasty things to each other. Like, they could be mean to each other and pull pranks on each other. But it feels like pranks and things that you would say to your friend to, like, get back at them, right? The gang really does feel like friends. Like, I know we always focus on the romantic side of Love is War. And in fact, this season's called Ultra Romantic. We even get, like, we even get a title drop in this week's episode where Ishigami says he'll just go ultra romantic, which did make me laugh because it makes me think of Ultra Instinct, and I wonder if that was on purpose. Definitely not, because this series, this chapter of the manga, I have to assume, came out long before Ultra Instinct. But I do think it's funny. Unless maybe this isn't in the manga. What I'm assuming is what I'm hoping is that this wasn't actually from the manga and they made it up for the show and it is an Ultra Instinct reference. But what I like about the show that I think we don't talk about enough is the fact that it doesn't just focus on the romance, it also focuses on the friendships. And I think that Kaguya and Ishigami spending so much time this week was really refreshing. Like, we always had an inkling that Kaguya, like, we know now that, like, the only person who, quote-unquote, doesn't really like Ishigami as a friend is Ino, and we also know that she's lying, right? Like, we know that that's bullshit. Because of the 10-cent game thing. Like, we know that that's a lie, right? So, like, of the student council, everybody likes Ishigami. Like, everybody's now friends, and we know that. But it's nice to see it, like, actually enacted. It's nice to see Kaguya actually show up and, like, help him, right? She encourages him, and that's what pushes him, right? It's not just Tsubame pushing him to get into the top 50. It's because Kaguya genuinely had his back, and when he cried because he just could not cross, like, he couldn't break into the top 100, let alone the top 50. Just missed it though. I think he got like 111th or something like that. He did really well considering he jumped like 20 spaces, right? And so Kaguya said, like, hey, you know what, like, 20 whole steps above where you were, that's still pretty good, right? And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna be right back. And he goes to the bathroom and he just beats himself up. But Kaguya's like, hey, was that true? Are you bitter? And he's like, of course I'm bitter, right? And when seeing him, like, break down, being like, of course I'm bitter, like, you put faith in me and I let you down. You trusted me and I failed you. You know, he pulls an Alfred, like, you trusted me and I failed you. I failed you, Master Wayne, right? Like, I failed you, Master Kaguya, right? Like, he feels like he let her down, but for Kaguya, it's like, you didn't let me down, right? Like, Kaguya's like, no, you did your best, and it wasn't good enough this time. You're not always gonna win, right? Like, you're not always gonna win. I do want to see my boy get a dub, right? But my boy, the thing that we have to remember about Ishigami, right? Like, he didn't win the foot race, sure. He didn't break into the top 50 this time, sure. But he always tries, you know, and that's why he's best boy, right? That's why I love Ishigami so much, because he always tries, right? He needs a push. He does need a push, but he will try if the right circumstances are in place. And I'm always proud of him, you know? Ishigami's one of those characters that, like, I see him and I'm like, that's my boy right there. That's my boy right there. That's my best boy. I'm always proud of him. And I feel like Kaguya was proud, right? She wasn't, like, super over the moon proud, but she was impressed that he studied hard and did jump up a couple spaces, even though it's not really the outcome that they wanted, you know? And so she does say, like, listen, like, you work just as hard and no more kid gloves next time. And of course Ishigami's like, that was without kid gloves? right? Because he really studied his ass off. He's like, that was without kid gloves? Oh my god. Right? They do have a funny moment where she's like, I can't believe... He's like, well, I mean, you did get second place, so that's pretty hard. That's pretty impressive, too. And Kaguya's just like, I would have got first if I didn't have to help you. Right? It was funny, right? But yeah. So we also know that we find out like where everybody ranks. Like, so Shirogane is still number 1 amongst the second years, and Ino is still number 1 amongst the first years. I think Chika fell 10 places, Ishigami jumped 20, Kaguya stayed at 2, and the not quite Kaguya girl stayed at 3. I think, right? So does that mean Tsubame is like a third year? Because I didn't see Tsubame's name on there. So I'm curious, like, what is Tsubame a third year? I'm gonna have to look that up. You know what? Maybe I won't look it up. I'll ask somebody who's read the manga. Yeah, because I'm like, is Tsubame a third year? Maybe she's a second year. I don't know. But that would make her older than Ishigami, right? Which is interesting. But yeah, because if she's a third year, she's gonna graduate soon. That's gonna suck. But yeah, I do think that this episode in general was just a lot of fun. It was nice to see my boy once again get an episode to shine. Oh my god, I didn't even talk about this. The Shirogane Kaguya thing. I was gonna end the video and I didn't even talk about it. The Shirogane Kaguya thing. That has to be another moment where I was positive. I was like, this is it! This is it! Right, because it was close. But, you know, ultimately that's not what happens. Kaguya falls asleep. It was close. It was real close, and Kei was a shit, making Chika think that it was her, Mr. Herthaka, right? But yeah, obviously not. But I do think that the whole Kaguya scene was really funny. I thought they were getting drunk. Turns out that Kaguya is just, you know, hella sleepy. But again, like, almost confession. I'm okay. I'm gonna be a betting man on this one. I'm gonna be a betting man this season. Before the season ends, we're getting a confession. One of them's gonna cave. This is it. This is the season. I feel it in my bones. I feel it in my bones. This is it. This is the one. This is the one. Maybe. Probably not though. Okay. Outro. And that's going to do it for today's discussion, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for listening. As always, I want to give a big thank you to the lovely people who help support us over on Patreon. And if you too would like to have your name scrolling past the screen, then be sure to check out that Patreon link in the description. And of course, a big thank you has to go to Asaki VT, Elizabeth Just Elizabeth, JCran23, Jeremy P, Matt87 Eagle, Shadow Creative, Shiorins, Stephen G, Stevie W, Trap Master, Trevor W, and Tristan G. Thank you all so much for your continued support. It means the world to me. Thank you so much. Check me out over on Twitch, on Twitter, all the fun stuff. Links to everything are in the first link in the description. Thank you so much for watching / listening, and I will see you in the next one.